There was a time when the middle class didn't exist. No steady jobs, no reliable salaries, no quiet suburbs or safe futures. There were peasants at the bottom, struggling to survive, and nobles at the top, living off land and power. And for centuries, that was the world. Then, slowly, almost unnoticed, something new appeared. Inside walled market towns of medieval Europe, a small group began to grow. Merchants, craftsmen, artisans. They owned tools, not land. They sold skill, not loyalty. They were not rich enough to rule, and not poor enough to starve. To the nobility, they barely mattered. To the church, they were often suspect, because profit itself was seen as morally dangerous. But these people organized. They formed guilds. They protected their trades, controlled quality, and defended themselves from feudal landlords. By the time of the Renaissance, they had done something revolutionary. They invented modern bookkeeping, banking, credit. Trade was no longer local. Money began to move across borders. Simple traders became merchant princes. This new group had a name: the bourgeoisie. For the first time in history, wealth was no longer tied only to birth. It could be earned. Then came the machines. The Industrial Revolution broke the old world apart. Factories replaced farms. Cities expanded rapidly. Your family name no longer guaranteed your place in society. But factories needed more than physical labor. They needed planners, accountants, managers. This created something entirely new: the white-collar worker. A growing middling class that valued discipline, punctuality, and hard work. They separated work from home, public stress from private life. Success, to them, was not just financial, it was moral proof. Proof that effort could defeat inheritance. Then, in 1914, something changed the system forever. A car manufacturer made a risky decision. He doubled wages, not out of kindness, but because workers who could afford to buy what they produced would keep the system alive. The middle class was no longer an accident. It became the engine of the economy. After World War II, this engine roared. Governments made a promise. In the United States, millions of returning soldiers were given access to higher education. College stopped being exclusive. Suburbs expanded. Identical houses, clean streets, stable communities. One income could support a family, buy a home, pay for a car, even afford a vacation. Income gaps narrowed. Factory workers and office workers lived surprisingly similar lives. This period became known as the golden age of the middle class. For a brief moment in history, prosperity was shared. The middle class wasn't anxious. It was confident. Then, in the 1970s, the rules changed. Quietly. Wages slowed. Costs kept rising. Housing became expensive. Healthcare became overwhelming. A college degree turned from opportunity into necessity. Those without one fell behind. Then came automation, and later, artificial intelligence. The very jobs that once defined middle-class security routine management, accounting, administrative work became replaceable. By the early 21st century, the middle class in America had shrunk dramatically, and something darker followed: frustration, anxiety. The growing belief that children might live worse lives than their parents. The social contract was broken, but no one announced it. While the West struggled, the story shifted east. In China, India, Brazil. Hundreds of millions entered the middle class. Cities expanded. Consumption grew. Global economic power followed them. By the mid-2010s, Asia had become the world's largest middle-class market. But even this growth came with risks. Some nations stalled before becoming wealthy. Factories left too early. Productivity slowed. Economists called it the middle income trap, a reminder that the middle class is fragile everywhere. Looking ahead to 2050, one future is clear. Unless something changes, wealth will continue concentrating at the top. The middle class was never guaranteed. It was designed, maintained, and dismantled by policy. It was built on education, stability, second chances. And without those, it fades. The question isn't whether the middle class can survive. The question is whether we remember why it existed in the first place.